And we're back to another episode of Let's Play Shining Force CD Book 2. I'm your host, Nick Legato. Okay, so we've got everybody promoted here. Some are level 2, most are level 1, because of emergencies or whatever. But I looked at the statistics and I reviewed them carefully. You know, Hero, we can't do much about. Natasha, decent mage, we'll keep her in. Jaha over Road. It's hard to tell, they're very close, but Jaha still seems to be the stronger one, 52 and 31. And then we have Road at 47-30 at level 5 promoted. Obviously, because we've gotten everybody to 20, the statistics are a little lopsided. Except in this regard. Eric and Dawn. Eric seems to be a lot weaker than Dawn. Not by a lot. Attack is weaker with the Chrome Lance. Defense is lower and agility is lower. His movement's the same. His HP is one notch better than Dawn. Dawn seems to beat him in every category. But here's what's interesting is Randolph at level 6. He's got the best. He's got good defense. He's got substantially better attack. Not really. He's just better attack. The agility is the same. His HP is 36 and 33 against Dawn's 49 and 29. So his defense is better and his HP is too. So Eric's gonna come out and we're gonna put in Randolph instead. Luke is a pretty heavy hitter. He hits as hard as Randolph does with the Battle Glove. His defense is not great, but he's not really that type of fighter. I mean, he's a kind of a jack of all trades. Let me move this a little bit. Slade surprised me a little bit. His attack is 43. I mean, he's right there almost with Eric. His HP leaves something to be desired, so he's someone I would invest health bread into if I had some. Here's the big debate. Graham and Chester. Well, they're both at level 1. Chester hits harder. Chester has much better defense. The agility is the same, but what's curious is the movement. This is without adding any enhancements to Chester. Chester is a better archer. Statistically, is a better archer at level 20 promoted. He's a better archer, and they're both using the same weapons. And Graham doesn't get the bonuses that the other centaurs do of that extra one piece of movement, which would have really been enough to really consider having him there. But if I were to take someone out, it would be Graham. Surprisingly, that was a surprise. May, good mage. She's already got Bolt 2 now. So yeah, Sarah's got Aura. So really, we're gonna be taking out Eric and putting in Randolph, which was a surprise. I wasn't going to think there was going to be a vast difference between them, but surprisingly I was wrong. There was. So let's do that. But I just wanted you guys to really see the differences and where they really lie. Because that's what really makes or breaks a good party, is who's in the party at the time and how good are those people that are in the party. And you have to compare them all with the same gear, so, you know. If you don't compare them with the same gear, the test serves no decent purpose. So let's save what we've got. And so, like I said, you know, Jaha seems to have better stats, and actually, if you really are curious, I'm sure you can find out what the end stats are for some of these characters if you're that curious. So now we have heroes who will now maximum experience for every enemy on the battlefield, excluding a couple. Claude will not gain maximum experience, nor will Sarah. So one of the things we're going to have to do for that is we're going to have to get Luke some kills, which shouldn't be hard, but more specifically, we're going to have to get Slade some kills, which could render itself possibly difficult. But, you know, we'll see. Anyway, as I was saying though, it's an interesting outcome. That was an interesting result to see, you know, who the better archers and knights were. So, and Claude just powered his way up the food chain. So there's no reason for me to even fight with Claude in this battle. And I should only really use Sarah if I need to. And same with Randolph. I mean, I can have Randolph fight the stronger enemies, but for the most part, I'm going to have Randolph focused more on, you know, he'll fight maybe the skeletons, but other than that, let him keep clear, because he's not going to level very much off of some of these enemies. Maybe the worms. I think the worms he won't level off of, but everything else it'll be pretty normal for him. But yeah, that was an impressive statistics. Those were impressive statistics to look at. And I didn't use any enhancements on the archers or the knights. I don't believe I did. I might have, but I don't remember it. I thought I used them solely on Deanna and the mages, so... Yeah, they look really cool in this version. I like the way Deanna's standing. It's a new pose not seen before. And now we're going to start seeing their growths change as well. Deanna now also, by the way, has Bolt 2 available to him. So wait a minute, Sarah and Claude should be at about the same level, yeah, so there's no reason to really level them that much. I don't plan on using them very much for anything. Curious to see what May looks like, because I haven't gotten... She was the last person I could get up to level. See if she can be soul. Man, purple. And the soul fails me again. No, not a surprise at this point. It hasn't been very successful at all. Jester's just an archer with a big-ass bow. I got a big-ass bow! Oh, and speaking of which, to get to where I was, to that, took a little longer than I thought, because the worms eventually started giving me zilch. They gave me no experience. And there's a lot of worms on this map. I had to rely on the skeletons at that point to give me 11 experience per kill. The Hawkman 15. Yeah, it was a little painful, but I got it done, and I had to redo this map twice, which is why some of the characters were already at level 2, because I was already using them a little bit. So Randolph's goal is to get at level 9, I guess, at this point, to even out with Claude and Sarah. That way I can monitor their growth separately, you know, and I don't even expect them to grow much for the rest of the chapter. Because that would be kind of, that would outbalance the natural reaction. Not the natural, that would change the balancing. It's funny, because Slade kind of looks like a, you know, kind of looks like a guy from, like, the Middle East. Arabic, maybe. Kind of weird. I like the way the promoted mages look in this game, rather than the other one, Shining Force 2. So I still really thought that the floating magic staves were awesome. I missed that. That I do miss. But as you can see, now our promoted characters are just solid walls of death. They're going to gain experience like it's nobody's business. Oops, I forgot. I don't have spears. They're going to get experience like it's nobody's business. It's going to be crazy. But what it also interested me a lot was more that Jaha has his own promotion gear and his own movement and everything, whereas Road was a completely different looking warrior. So, you know, that was really interesting. And Jaha looks more like a giant armadillo tank of death, rather than a, you know, a warrior, or maybe a super warrior, the ultimate warrior. Well, it's just weird to look at it, though, in a way. I'm curious. I haven't seen her do an attack yet. Round 7. So we know that, well, what's his name, should be able to do more. Speaking of more, Bolt 2, no, I didn't reach. And neither will Slade, who is also a Viker. It's just, you know what I've noticed in this Shining Force specifically, is there's more customization. The characters share more uniqueness between them. I mean, none of the priests look alike. The warriors are different. The knights are the same shape and color, so you can't say much. There's not much to say about that. There's only one Birdman, so there's not much to. There's also not much to say about that either. So I want to see what Randolph gets for killing this guy. I mean, there are a lot of discriminations between the way the characters look, and I don't know. To me, that's refreshing. Yeah, I mean, it seems a little more refreshing, a little more interesting to see that there's more to it than before. Ouch. Yeah, maybe it's a good idea to probably put a stop to that. I still like the way Jaha looks. It's just was unexpected. Not that I like the way he looks, so to speak, but it is just a very odd look. And yeah, like I said, I was surprised Randolph was as good as he was. So, I missed how much experience he got in that. So, shit. Yeah, whatever. Like I said, he's not going to be killing the worms. Those will be my low-level promotees. Kind of funny now how they went to these broader swords. The heroes always seem to go to these big, thick swords later. Nice. Let's see. Who's up? Who's up? Well, you know what? I'm gonna let Slade get the kill there. I'm thinking, nah, we'll let May do it. It's always so hard to level her anyway. Because there's so many undead, and they're all, like, immune to ice, and Bolt's kind of expensive right now. At least for the moment. She would be a great candidate for an MP boosting thing like the Bright Honey or something, but I haven't seen. I don't think they introduced that until way later until Shining Force 2. Which would have been a really neat thing. Luke is the only one I was a little disappointed in his promotion. He didn't really look much different. Still looks like a giant guy doing the same thing he was before, swinging around a stick. But, you know, I guess you don't really have to have that much different. I mean, he looks better than the dude with the oversized turban. As you can see, it's a very well-rounded team, and Slade's MP is surprisingly growing, so, you know, I guess it goes to show you, you don't know what you're dealing with until you've actually come to, you know, your team. And I'm sure there's a lot of variables in a lot of this stuff, too. I think that, you know, if you could put in, if you wanted more defensive, you wanted, what's the word I'm looking for? If you wanted warriors who could absorb more damage but were slower in movement, you would put in both of your warriors. If you didn't want to have kind of the flying character all over the screen, you know, killing everything like Claude can, you know, I'd substitute him out for, like, you know, for another character, probably one of the warriors as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of directions you can really go, and a lot of different strategies that's really up to the player to kind of figure out which ones they're going to use. But there are a lot, you know, there are a lot of options, and you cannot decline any of the characters. They all have their uses so far. It seems like there's more balance in the Shining Force Gaiden remakes than there are in the other Shining Force games. So, you know, to each his own, but what have you. So, I'll be interested to see how well they do as they start to progress up into the level 10s. That's where we're going to start seeing some dramatic changes, and we'll see really who is the better character to have. So, we'll see you on the next episode of Let's Play Shining Force CD Book 2.